Hello, everyone. Welcome to my stream. Looks like it's a okay. Okay, I think I probably didn't turn on my microphone too good. But anyway, yes, as you can see right now behind me is actually a picture taken by one of my favorite, you know, uh, Chicago photographer. He's really good, and he took this real nice picture. So if you go on Twitter, actually, I don't know if I'm supposed to be advertising for him, but I'm just using it, for my private use. But that's essentially what it looked like, in Chicago. Today, we finally have degrees that are, in Fahrenheit, will be in the 30s, close to 40. But that means in Celsius is above freezing, above zero. So probably about 3, 4 degrees right now. So that's considered warm. In fact, a friend of mine was just and I were just texting. He's been asking how is it like because he's based in Colombia. He's one of the Java champions, Hilmer, in Colombia. So he was like wondering how it is like as far as winter goes, in Chicago. And I do have to say, yeah, it actually was very, very cold. I mean, if you live here, you know that it is, we do get kind of very cold weather, but I think I didn't, I'm not originally from here, but there are folks that says actually it could get to be very, very cold. And anyway, so that's the thing. Okay, let me one thing, just a bit of an adjusting. So yeah, so it get very cold, and in fact, I think the coldest we had on like December 24th, or 23rd or 24th. Those days, that's when the cold came in. It was like minus. I was trying to tell someone it was like minus 23 or so, right, for Celsius, and that was like, or was it? Or was I? Well, actually, I'm trying to think. Okay, wind chill was actually minus 35. So, which means that, okay, the actual temperature when you measure it wasn't that low, but it was probably like minus 10. I think I remember that morning was minus 10 or so, minus 15, maybe 10 or 15 for Fahrenheit. And so that would be like minus 25 or so for Celsius. So temperature wise, that's what it was. But there was like really strong wind. So that was the wind that caused, kind of basically, it created an effect, that you feel colder than just the temperature says. So it was like probably minus 35 Fahrenheit for us here, and then that's equivalent of like minus 38, I think, in Celsius. So yes, it was very cold. And I was like double layer when I go outside, meaning, I wear two pairs of pants and my two pairs of socks. Everything was just like double up and still felt very cold. And I was just outside for a little bit and I thought I had like a bit of a frostbite. I don't know what it was, a bit of a black and blue coming in, but I forgot my gloves for like, a little bit. I was just outside for less than a minute and it came in. It was just one of the fingers was black and blue, and I was like, oh my gosh. But finally it came back to life. And so yeah, that was a bit kind of like unexpected. But anyway, so that was the cold, blizzard of 2022, I guess, for the eastern half of North America. So not just in the US, I'm sure. I think Canada also had it very strong too, I believe. And it's basically Arctic air coming from the north. But I don't know. I didn't check the weather that few days, like in our northern neighbor, which is the Canada. But I imagine it, if it's that cold here, it would be even colder up there. And folks in there too is amazing. I mean, to be living in that. So anyway, but the thing is that, you kind of get used to it, so to speak. We're never really used to it. But of course, indoor we have heating, and so that helped a lot too. Without heating, I don't know how we can survive. And it was just very cold. And but the thing, though, I think is sad is really for the homeless people. We have to think of them. And in fact, this week and actually tomorrow too, at my church, we have like and we have the monthly homeless shelter kind of service. And so I wasn't quick enough to sign up to serve because they only need a few people to actually serve meals to the homeless people, but it was actually more for also for volunteers to donate, in money donation or bring in food. And so and then they were asking to make like lasagna, like a big tray of lasagna, but I'm not sure how good I could do that. I've done lasagna before, but it's not very easy, right? And I don't want to be like, kind of like spoil it. So I just decided to buy some drinks, so that's what I mean, just juice, nothing like alcoholic. But anyway, so that's the least I can do. I think, encourage to folks to also help out those, who are in need. And very often, I think we may not be, as aware of other people, and but it's hard, sometimes I think, I bet most of us are living in, very comfortable homes and everything. So, and we may not be, aware of what's going on around us, but I try, right? We try. And you know and I feel bad, sometimes it's like, we can go and serve, the people who are in need, but it's always seems like, everywhere there are always some, it can be dangerous too, and maybe that's why too sometimes I got a bit nervous. But the thing is that, if you go with an organization that it's, kind of proven, so to speak, right? Like kind of, organization, say with my church, and we have like a monthly kind of event, and so that you are with a group of people that you are safe, but still, we do need to be careful. But most people are good, right? And it's just unfortunately sometimes you get some people, I heard of, it can get violent, or maybe people having some sort of mental issues, and they can get violent. So those kind of things, we have to be careful about that too. But well, not to say that, but it's the point is that, this is still holiday week, and we're trying to help, and that's all we're trying to do. So okay, so and let's see. And am I doing right? Actually, let me check. Let me check my stream too, because it's kind of interesting. When I first did this, I forgot to actually turn on my microphone, so the audio didn't come out right. So you can tell me too, if folks. I don't even know if anybody is on here. So let me kind of okay. So I do see the stream, but I do not see anybody in there. Let me actually check too. I have, like I said, I have my other setup in there that I usually check, and just to see if there are anybody in the stream. So yeah. So anyway, yeah. So sometimes it's hard to see, but I actually also have a viewer location that I try to see, but right now it's just showing like one viewer, and it's based in the US. It's kind of interesting. I don't know. I think you need to be registered in order to be counted. So yeah. Anyway, so okay. So without kind of being like wasting your time in here, so let me kind of get a bit busy, right? And like I said, this is just the thing, and let me kind of go back in here. But you know what I'll do? I'm not very organized today. It seems like most of the time I just come in here and just like, okay, let's start coding and everything. And so let me kind of bring up the work that I was doing with the Kafka. Now, yes, and in fact, that's what it is. So we're gonna work on the Kafka example. So let me bring this over. Actually, you know what? This one too, I wanted to look at. In fact, this one is basically, I know I've been keep talking about streaming, and I really, really feel, right, like streaming would be something that let me kind of switch myself to smaller. Streaming, I believe, will be, one of the future things. I mean, to me, right, it's kind of interesting the way I look at streaming, and I know maybe most of us are not kind of paying as much attention to, so to speak. And it is very interesting if you think about it, and I might have said it before, is that, streaming, I think I compare it, right? If I make an analogy, is kind of like, if you think of yourself living, if you compare computer development, like living in a house. And So streaming is more like about the pipes that are installed in your house. I mean, can you live without it? No, you do require it. But most of the time too, we do not pay attention to it, right? So, but if you think about it, right, we need water when we leave. I mean, where we live, right? We need water. So we have kitchen, we have bathrooms, and even like work, maybe utility rooms, and all these laundry hookups and everything. If you think about it, water is indispensable. And in order to work with water, we need pipes, right? And it's good pipes that kind of like flow, have all the flow kind of correct. If you don't build it correctly, if let's say the materials are subpar, then you could easily, right, your pipes can freeze, in that, like, say, cold weather. It's easy too. You have heard of problems if people don't take care of the pipes good, then it can burst, and then it will cost a lot of money to fix it. And not only that, and you wouldn't be getting water for a while. So can you see what is happening? And here it is. I'm using this analogy to describe streaming. It is absolutely necessary. I mean, think of the fact that we live in a world, it's like water, right? Information keeps flowing. We need to have way of controlling the flow. We need to have, I mean, in some ways this example may not be exactly word for word for how we manage our data, right? But in some ways, if you think of data like water in some sense, and it's like water flowing in our homes, and you need all the pipes to work correctly, like from the source to the sink, right, so to speak. So it's kind of, if you think about data pipelines, it's like water pipelines. And their source, the source is usually we get water from our, say, for example, my village, we're a municipality that they manage all the water supply. So then builders will connect your pipes to all these water source, so it comes in and then it flows, and all of these things. So okay, so enough said of that. And basically, my point is that streaming is kind of absolutely important. And then in terms of data, and actually, by the way, there's also the winter sun. And somehow I haven't drawn the curtain because I really like the sun on my face, are kind of just so nice in the wintertime, right? So I'm like, here is like facing sort of like west, so then it is kind of coming at me right now. But I hope you don't mind. But anyway, so here it is, just about streaming. So, and of course, when it comes to data too, we're talking about, if you kind of compare data like water, I mean, not exactly kind of like that. Water is very fluid, but if you think about it, right, it's kind of, if you remember, right, in your science class, right, and I still remember, right, it's basically water, the different forms, it's water, the liquid, and then the ice, and when it's cold, right, and then also when it's kind of too hot, then it's steam, right, so different state. So I think you can liken it to data is like that. There's that data at rest, which is like very often, right, there's data, you need to store it, right, in the storage. So say, for example, my company, right, data stacks, we have Cassandra, and that's database, right, it's NoSQL way of storing data. And also, like, not only the storing part, right, there's also a lot of the movement, select, query, all of these things, and they're also guaranteeing data won't get lost and everything. So, and in fact, if my good friend colleague, Aaron is here, Aaron can talk about it too. So, and Aaron's been up here. So there's that data at rest. So I liken it to like water, like ice, right? And then there's also water as very fluid. So if you think about data, there will be data in motion, right? Motion, it's kind of data is happening, you need to send messages between different endpoints, for example, that's data in motion. Think of water flowing through. And then I think there's also data, okay, data at rest, data in motion, data in transit, right, isn't it? Or, well, actually, let me check, and there's this state of data states, right? There's I think there are data at rest, data in motion, and data in use. So in use is basically when it is being queried, or all of these things, right? They are basically like in use. So that is very interesting. So yeah, so I don't know, all of a sudden I'm kind of thinking of this too. And that's the whole point. So that's streaming. So I hope I'm not boring you to death. So with that, maybe, and let me kind of get busy, because then it might kind of make sense too. So let me kind of like shrink myself up so I don't block you now for looking at things, right? So okay, so I know I keep mostly talking about kind of Apache Pulsar, because that's what I'm working with, and it is certainly a very modern day kind of data streaming platform. It allows you to help with your data in motion and data in use too, and then it interacts too with your data in storage. And in our case too, is that I'm also building out an example of a of basically Pulsar, and then also to yeah well, actually, let me put it that way. I actually need to start to build that. So this actually might be a good time to actually work on that project, or at least start working on it. It's basically having data right in the database, but let's say you also have data that's coming through in some pipeline, and the pipeline too comes in, and with the data you want to, let's say there are data, actually that comes to mind. So we have data that we want to do some selection. Let's say some data that comes in from a web page, and then we need to look up maybe like a user ID, something, right? Based on a user that comes in from the web page. And then we want to be able to say, check to see some information about this user. So what it comes in, maybe just the user and a user ID. So then with that ID, we want to be able to query the data inside a database. So in this case, I can be using a Cassandra that's actually goes out and fetch the data about, employee record or maybe user record or something, and then do some uh, kind of selection, whatever. And then it comes out, maybe then, it kind of process it, and then it sends the results back to a sink or something. It's like a destination. So maybe that's what we can work on. How about that? And well, the thing is, we're gonna work on some Kafka. So let's also look at some Kafka first. But because I'm like used to, actually, I'm sorry. I have to move my face out of the sunlight because I couldn't see. Okay, yeah. So let's see. And let me kind of take a look over here, um, kind of making sure that my stream is doing okay too. So okay, and all right. So let me kind of a bit of a rambling today, but because it is still in a holiday time, I just wanted to chat. But over here, I'm kind of bringing up reactive client for Apache Pulsar. So reactive is another kind of related topic, right? That's kind of related to event streaming and event stuff. And so we will talk about that too. And if you're interested, let's kind of talk about it uh, at the next stream. Yeah. So today, let's kind of take a look at our Kafka again. Oops, no. Oh, last week, by the way, I had the my Chicago Jug holiday party. I told you, right? So we ended up having very great conversation. Maybe roughly 7 or 8 people were there, but it was very good. We had about 26 people sign. No, wait, no, like not even 20 people signed up, but about 7 or 8 people came. And I know it's holiday, so didn't expect so much. But anyway, this one is actually that they kind of reload again too. But basically too, that's called a proximity chat kind of meeting place. I'm sorry, it seems like I'm like kind of being very kind of what you call it, being like this, kind of like jumping all over the place. But over here too, as you can see, right, that's the room, and then I have like different things in here, decoration. So anyway, so that was from last week, but I still have it up here, so that's why. Okay, so let's kind of go back to that Kafka example, and it's what we were looking at. Okay, and right. That's right. So we were working on this example. It's basically a basic, right? We basically sending, produce, a payment information, and then we have consumer that's listening on it. It's basically using a Kafka listener, and then using a Kafka template for the send side, right? And so that's the difference. Like Kafka, and this one too is basically it works too with the Spring framework too. So and I think I remember because then I was using the what you call it. Okay, let me restart my code space. So that's actually directly right from this from this kind of a with my repository I can actually start a code space, right, and with it. So let me actually go back to mine. I thought I had I'm having a lot of projects these days, but just not enough time to do everything. Did I go into here? Oh no, this is not my demo project, not in my demo repo. I think my lab maybe. So I have different, basically my different. I group it differently, so then I don't kind of mix up everything else. But I thought I had my. All right, so it might be over here too. I'm sorry. Kafka streaming. Okay. Oh, I guess I never really. You know what I'll do? Well, you know what? I've already done this. Actually, what I could do right now is going back to Coase, and then I will just go back to Kafka. I thought I already have done that, and code spaces. Maybe because I open it directly from his. So let's not do that because I want to be able to write to my own, right? So let me see. Okay. Um, let me do this. Oh, my existing fork. Oh, okay. Let me fork it. So let me fork it to. Let me go to this. Let me go to my lab. Okay, I'll call it. Yeah, I'll use it Kafka. This one is Kafka. In this case. Okay. Actually, I want to copy all the branches too. So because his branches too, basically he is a solution branch for all of his exercise. But the solutions though, I told him already that it's not very clear, some of his instructions. So that's a bit of an issue in there. But it's okay. I mean, it's not a big deal. So now it's in my MQuickLess lab Kafka. So folks, if you want to kind of follow along too, let me kind of go back to here and share it. So the Kafka uh, code example is on here. So I just shared to basically the link, to this lab where I clone the Kafka example, the use case from Coase. So okay, so here we go. So from here, then let me do this because I think this one I will close it. And over here, let me do this too, is I will go to my code space on other branches. Okay, you know what I'll do? This one, I wonder. Actually, you know what? Let me kind of do this quickly again because some of you may be new in here. So what I'll do is I'll delete it so I don't. Export changes to a branch. How nice it is, right? Is to create a new branch with any unpushed data. Although I don't want to have it create a branch over there. I'll see if I could. Let me see if I could actually. Let me kind of export to a branch, but I think the branch will become underneath Coase, and I don't want to get it into his. I wonder. Okay, so that might be a good exercise to do. Uh, let me see. Okay, so let me do this. Create a code space. Oh, no, actually, that's not what I meant. Why does it go straight there right now? Configure manage code spaces. Okay, let me manage my code spaces. Sorry, guys. Okay, so all right, yeah. See, this one will be under codes, and that's what I did. I shouldn't have done that, and And that was my code space. So I think what I'll do is organic halibut. What kind of name? Okay, of course, but that's okay. So, and also too, if I do this, then and by the way, I actually did download it, right? So, well, let me kind of work in here. Create code space on main. Configure and create code space. Show advanced options before launching. Okay. Let me see. Okay, let me do this one thing. It looks like it is trying to create it. Oh, because I close it doesn't mean, I didn't delete it. Open in browser. Oh, there's also JetBrains Gateway. Isn't it amazing? I don't know what JetBrains Gateway is. Let me do this one thing. Let me see how it works, right? Maybe I need that plugin into my JetBrains too. So, and I don't know where is it now. Is it trying to get to my? Okay, let me search for my IntelliJ. I don't know. It doesn't appear. Okay, over here. Okay, so this is my JetBrains, and I don't think it is trying to open up in here. Good. Um, I'm sorry, I'm a bit kind of like all over the place today. Um, okay, well, all right. So it's funny because here, let me try to tell you, right? I'm trying to say, okay, open in a code space, but the thing is, I want to use configure. So if I configure it, you know what I'll do? Let me kind of close it first, right? Because it's not what I want. Let me delete it. Let me delete it first. Okay. Okay, good. And that one too, basically, I want this to export changes. Oh, export changes to a fork. That's what I want. So let me do that. You do not have write access to this code space repository. This will create a new fork of the repository. We assign the code space to that fork and export your changes to a new branch. Okay, that's what I want. So let's do a how nice it is. It's actually having that this feature. So that's what I was looking for. Wait a minute. Is it big enough in here? Okay. Uh, okay. Let me see. Let me see. Okay. That's funny. Actually, on my geolocation, um, it's still not updating data freshly. I'm still only saying that one viewer location based in the US. And I know I have this one I'm monitoring, but I think over here I'm seeing like two viewers. So anyway, okay, C fork. You don't, okay, let me see. Let me see the fork. Okay, great. So I think, cool. Okay, here we go. So see what I mean? Last week, right, when I first work on this, I just create a code space, but directly on code's the branch. So then it's associated with that. But I actually wanted to export my changes over to my fork, and that's what it's doing. And it appears that it's actually going over to my main my main repo rather than my lab, which is okay too. I mean, for now that's fine too. And I can kind of do some changes. I actually wanted to bring it over to my lab too because I don't want my whole stuff. Let me go. Let me go. Let me go there. Okay, let me kind of try to do this again. C branch. I don't know why it forces me to my main branch and. All right. Well, I guess it has to be like this. So it has to be. So okay. So let me like not worry about. Oops, not here. Let me not worry about it now. Then okay. Then I'll go back to my own thing. Okay, so this is back to my fork over here. So this fork then would have all of the changes that we worked on, but essentially so far we've only worked on the JetBrains branch. So here we go. Okay, just to kind of like double check it, right? We work on the basic one, and then we have added in changes. Let me kind of verify, right? We have config, just want to verify that it's indeed, yes, it does. Yeah, so it has all the changes. So how nice. This is what a nice feature. But it's interesting to, oh, okay, so that's Ko. I didn't know Ko has another, username. I'm sure he probably has it differently. So, okay, so not an issue. So this is good. So I know all of the changes now gets over to my code space. So in that case, I can actually check into mine too. But why do I do this first? Let's try to open up in my code space now, and then get it to work. How about that? Oh, I guess if I do that, I actually have to go to the top level, and then let's see, right? So it has three branches. He always has a solution branch, right? There's active branch and my branch. Wait, so okay, so yeah, okay, main and then my branch. Okay, active. Actually, the active and my branches are the same in here. So okay, so no big deal. Let me go back to this branch that I'm working on, and let's do this. Open code space over here. Fluffy potato. How about that? That's interesting. I think it already creates. Okay, let me I think it creates that's interesting. It created it for me already somehow. So let me open. Okay, so the JetBrains gateway doesn't work. Let me try one more time. Maybe I do need to have a plugin somewhere, but I don't have my plugin. So okay, so that's not gonna work, and I don't think I have anything in the browser that brings. Okay, so nothing in here. Let me bring over my you know what, my let me kind of go over here too. Okay, I don't think, maybe let's kind of take a look. Okay, so this is another one of my project working on a Pulsar client, but over here what I wanted to look at is basically um, see if there's maybe is preferences. I guess in the preferences I can then get to plugins. Oops. Okay, plugins. So I wanted to see, right, there's a gateway, cloud workstation coder, GitHub code spaces. There we go. Oh, why don't we try that, right? Let's try that. How about that? All right, let me go back. Let me kind of make sure too. This is okay. Wait. I guess this is getting to be funny. Oh, wait. I I am so sorry. I wasn't paying attention and somebody saying something. Oh, Aaron. Hello, Aaron. Thank you so much, Aaron. Thank you so much. And Aaron is amazing, folks. If you have not seen his live coding this morning, go to our DataStax developers YouTube channel. He did a great live coding with Astra DB and Java coding. So, okay, I'm gonna find that link shortly. Aaron, thanks for coming. And we also have Fusnabo from Norway. Wow, Fusnabo is asking, did you have a blizzard? Well, we sort of, right? So in Chicago, we actually had sort of a small blizzard, so to speak. Well, meaning that the moisture wasn't as much, and it was just, we had some snow. But thankfully, maybe like 3 inches, not that much, three, not even more than four, I think, a few inches, but very cold. It's just so cold. It's like bone chilling. It gets through to your bone. So, and okay, so where you are, Fusnabo, you're in Norway, right? And near Oslo, very slippery. Wow. So you must be temperature wise, isn't that low? But it's basically it gets, you snow and then it ice up. And that's actually, to me, I think that's kind of even harder than it is with snow. Yeah, Merry Christmas to you too. Thank you so much. Token sensitive. Token sensitive meaning saying, oh, you mean like the yeah, yeah, well, yeah. Token sensitive. I'm trying to kind of like see what you're referring to. Token sensitive, or is it, maybe it should be more non-denominational, right? So actually, you know what? Talking about which, I have a I'm gonna kind of open up to. I found this like cute little emoji thing, and it's really fun. I was almost gonna use it, and turns out that hold on. I think you'll get a fun, like a fun thing out of it. Although this is kind of like this. Happy non-denominational holidays. Yeah, that was like from the emoji thing, and they have this one, thing is pretty interesting. But so I think that's kind of probably is considered token insensitive, is if that's what it's like. Okay. Anyway, it's not complete. Yeah, and Aaron, yeah, train wreck. I know. Yeah. Okay. Um, Low for a while, rained over Christmas. Oh, Fusabo, no wonder. There's a token in the source code. Oh, token. Oh, I thought you were like referring to me when I said, it's Merry Christmas or something. So stream trolls. Yeah, that's right. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay. So that's good. I have it all blocked right now. Yeah, that's right. So anyway, so thank you so much for being here. And I'm sorry, I'm a little bit kind of scatterbrained today. It's a bit like, one of these things, right? It's like, okay, holiday. And turns out that my holiday's been quite busy in the sense that a lot of things, right? Like your paperwork, your expense reports, your trips, and all of these things, and even my home, network. I have to upgrade my systems. All of these things. It's actually it's taking so much time, and of course there are also holidays. So then you are visiting with friends, and there are lots of. I'm so thankful, so many friends, and they came to me messaging all of these things. We didn't really go out and see people. It's too much, other than my family, but it's just too cold and people not living around here. So very nice, but it was also very busy time of like greeting with a lot of people in church and all of these things. So that's why. But thank you so much for being here. But thank you. Yes, and that's a token. Yes, Fusnabo, you're right. So okay, so what I'm trying to do now is actually install code spaces, and I should have done it while I'm talking. So because I just wanted to see how it opens up, right? The code space. It says using a JetBrains gateway from GitHub. So okay, so while that is going, it's almost done. But let me kind of take a look, right? So over here, you could actually open it in JetBrains gateway. So let me see how that works. So and that's what I was trying to look at, right? And that's the thing. So and wait a minute. I guess I pressed the wrong button. Now I'm not able to see. Okay, there we go. So now I'm back to seeing my my streaming platform too, because it, like for a while I couldn't see see too well. I was like halfway blocked. So okay, here we go. Let me go back here. It looks like it's installed. So okay, so all right, so you're right. Let me kind of not okay, let me kind of do this. Say okay, okay, apply. Okay, all right, that's fine. So that's another thing. So I wonder if I need to. Okay, let me do this one thing. So now I have it in my IDE. So let me go back to my GitHub and see if I could open it in my JetBrains gateway. Okay, is it doing anything? Okay, I don't think it's doing anything. Oh, I have to restart. I'm sorry, of course. Why didn't I think of that? Restart. I thought there's a restart thing. No? All right, I guess in that case, I'll just quit and then just reopen again. No big deal, right? Let me go back to my. Okay, here we go. All right. Okay. So now, after we start GitHub themes, okay, that's fine. Close one of these things. It's just too much. Okay, let me go back now to this. Let me see if I could now open up in JetBrains Gateway. Okay. Okay, so it just says is installed. So I must be doing something not right. So okay, let me take a look. Let me go back to this preferences plugin. Okay, there must be something I need to do, and I was a little too eager to go. Plugin homepage, GitHub's code spaces provide a better development environment hosted in the cloud. Now you can spin up any code space and connect from any compatible. Oh, so actually I should be doing it rather than telling me to go over there. Or maybe I need to, of course, da to myself, I need to be actually open. Well, let me take a look. It almost seems like maybe I need to be opening it up from the other side, because over here, right? If I say, and that's the thing too, it doesn't tell me, but it almost seems like I should be able to open up directly from here, to my IDE. But or do I have to wait? Let me kind of. I'm sorry, this is my first time doing it, so I haven't even done it before. So change. What is change machine type? Let's see. Okay, well, two core. Okay, it's just the core. Okay, let me do this one thing. If my code, actually, why doesn't it tell me? Is it a settings? Do I have to tell it to open it locally? Actually, how would it know how to open up locally? Right? I don't know, and I'm just trying to figure it out. Code spaces. No, here. Maybe over here. Set up pre-build. There are no pre-builds configured for this repository. I don't know. Now they talk about pre-builds. Learn about setting up pre-builds. Pre-building your code spaces. To speed up code space creation, you can configure your project to pre-build code spaces for specific branches in specific regions. There we go. Okay, so let me kind of take a look and see what this is too. It helps to speed up creation of new code spaces. Okay, good. Pre-build assembles the main components of a code space for a particular combination of repository or blah 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 and dev container JSON configuration files. It provides a quick way to create a new code space. For complex and large repositories in particular, you can create a new code space more quickly by using a pre-build. If it currently takes more than 2 minutes to create a code space for a repository, you're likely to benefit. Oh, okay, so that's just pre-built. So maybe it's nothing to do. Oh, I'm sorry, somebody is there. You want to offer promotion to my channel? I'm sorry, but thank you very much. And I really don't need that information, but thank you very much. And I'm sorry, I don't think I need it, but okay. So I'm sorry if I have to ignore your message, Popple Ruskfit, whatever you are. So okay, let me go back to this code space. I thought you have some answers for me to how to enabling code space, but maybe you know what? Let me kind of not waste so much time. I thought it could be like quick enough that I can essentially quickly say that I want to launch it into my local JetBrains. Oh, look, okay, here we go. This is the one. Okay, using GitHub code spaces in my JetBrains IDE. Okay, so this is the one. If you use a JetBrains to work on your code, you can, okay, blah, blah, blah. Installing the gateway, you can set JetBrains in a default editor. And then whenever you open a code space from GitHub, the code JetBrains will launch to allow you to choose your JetBrains IDE and connect to the code space. Okay, remote development connection process. The basic process behind using a code space. In the JetBrains Gateway application, you select one of your active or stopped code spaces. Okay, so it almost seems like I actually need the JetBrains Gateway application. It's actually another app. I think that's where I got confused. Um, Let me see. Prerequisite. Okay, I have a license. Gateway. Here we go. Oh, there we go. Is completely a different thing. Okay, well, in that case, then I won't worry about it because it's just gonna take longer time, and then I have to look for my license and everything. So, okay, so I won't do it this way, and I'm sorry. It's just that I just wanted to know, right? I thought it was as easy as you have some gateway that you can install as a plugin, but this is actually a separate application. It's essentially a gateway. So, okay, so sorry about that. And let me then go back. In this case, let me kind of like go back to over here. And I'm sorry, folks. I'm a little bit like not very efficient today. But thank you for your patience if you are still here and talking with me too. So thank you very much. Okay, here we go. Kafka. Let me go back here. In this case, in my code space, let's just open it easiest, which is fluffy potato, and open in. Actually, let's do it in my browser, right? Or should I be in video? Yeah, that's right. Okay, so let's do it like this. Oh, still here, Aaron. Thank you. Aaron, did you actually want to join me? Oh my gosh, how could I not even have asked you, Aaron? Aaron and Fusnabo too. If you guys want to join, I didn't even ask. What am I doing? I'm so sorry. So, um, somebody's messaging me. Let me see. Oh, Aaron said it's okay. I'm sorry. Maybe I understand. Aaron, you probably are kind of already have a lot of kind of streaming today, right? Okay, so I won't force you. Next time, let me do that. And Gustavo, if you want, we can do that too. So here, this is Cole. We're gonna be going to be he actually presented. See, he presented a live coding session on event streaming, and he was like working on this Kafka. So I thought, this would be good that I can we're going to do a talk together, and not only that, we can actually use his example, and I'll do it in Pulsar as well. We're going to do some comparison studies. So okay, so Aaron says, oh, okay. Aaron is actually privately messaging. Okay, I understand. So Aaron is kind of a little today. That's okay. And I have to agree with you. Even though right now I'm like rambling around, doing streaming, I bet you after my stream, I'm going to be so tired. For some reason, after streaming, I get very, very tired. So, yeah. Okay. Next time, that would be great. Aaron, that would be wonderful. So maybe like next week. So that would be great. So, okay. So now back to this. So I have Cole. Like I said, we're going to be working on some development together, right? On comparing Kafka and Pulsar, and also building a use case. So that's why I'm trying to work on. But right now, like I said, I told Cole, I said let me get his Kafka ready, and in fact I have to get it ready in the next few days. So, and over here, I think I can kind of increase the font size so it won't be so slow. Uh, what is it? It's kind of telling me for extension. No, maybe not now. So, okay, so this is the good thing. And wait a minute. So, I thought it it's supposed to have copy things over. Why is it? You know what? I'm kind of wondering. It may be not opening up my forked copy. This is silly. So let me kind of go back to my GitHub first. Okay, here we go. Let me go. Where, wait, where is my? Okay, that's the thing when you get too many things. Then go back here. JetBrains. All right. So, okay. So this is my fork, and the fork. Oh, maybe because I haven't pushed my changes to it. But I thought, oh, how did that happen? Wait a second. Oh, you know what? Because I was actually looking at the fork, and but I didn't push the changes over here. So I need to actually push the changes. So let me actually. I have to go back here, and I basically have to do a pull request. I'm sorry. I'm like so clumsy today. I'm just so sorry. Okay, so this way, my head repository is there, and I want to compare. But my base, I don't want to merge into codes, but I thought I fork it, but I need to wait. Hmm. Let me see. Because I did the changes over there, and now I thought if I fork it, uh, let me kind of compare across forks. Uh, okay, initial commit, pending changes. Okay. Oh, pending changes. There we go. That's what I'm gonna look at. I don't want to actually push it over to Co's thing, but I want to push it to my fork. So, um, oh, so I can just commit first, right? Basically, I think that's what I could do. Commit, but not merge it back. I think, and that's what I can do. Okay, I'm sorry. It's a bit kind of not very organized today. Pull request. What is this pull request for? No, this isn't what. Okay, okay. So I have this. How do I Okay, now how do I'm kind of confused right now. Maybe some of you can kind of help me. So, okay. Um so right now I basically wanted to compare. So this branch is only over here. Oh, you know why? Because I opened this up in main from main, but I want there we go. Ah, I actually wanted to I want to why does it open up in main and not switch to uh, CodeSpace. How do I actually tell it to open my branch? Okay, let me kind of figure this out. I think that's what is happening because in CodeSpace it is opening up from main and not the branch explorer. Okay, how do I get to it? Source control? No. Hmm. No, I think how do I this is showing main, which is okay, and code spaces, my code spaces. Okay, so this is mine. Wait, this is kind of confusing now. This code space, stunning space eureka, is the old one. Maybe that's the one that I should be opening up. Okay, here I am, so confused. Uh, okay, this is my head. Okay, okay, so this is the one that I have forked from my changes over there. Okay, so that's good. So here's the thing. I just wanted this is really crazy. Um okay, so that's great. So these are my changes. Uh, okay, and it's exported. Okay, so I probably did not open up correctly the my code space. So I am so sorry. Let me go back in. Let me go back in here. So I think what I'll do is close all. Okay, and I just want to be my code space. Okay, let me go back to my code space again. Fluffy tomato potatoes is from Co's. I'm not sure, like, oh, but for some reason I didn't see Co's, but it's owned by me. So, oh, this is kind of odd. Okay, so this is the thing. Stunning space eureka is what I want. So let me then go in here and open this one. I don't know how I thought it was over there. Okay, so this one, and let me close it so it just doesn't take up too much space. I am so sorry. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. You have never used code spaces. Yeah. Oh, Aaron, I know. Even for me, I'm just experimenting. Last time I tried, right? Like I said, I opened up without thinking, and then I was like doing the code space directly on Code's repository. So this is kind of pretty cool. I can actually fork it, uh, fork that and export those changes to my new fork. But then I think when I opened up my code space, I wasn't pointing to my new fork. So then I was like, why is the changes not there? So so yeah, so let me kind of see if this works. I think this I think should see the changes that I have. It's funny how sometimes you do live coding type of scenario, it always takes, it always takes longer than you thought. Something doesn't seem to work, and then it's just always like that. But that's just part of the fun. So, all right, let me kind of make sure. Okay, let me just make sure. Yay, that's good. So this has all the changes. These are like basically topic configurations. Again, this is like using Spring. So you see the annotations that like bean and configuration comes from Spring. So these are the different topics that are being used: balance, payments, fraud, blacklist, and rewards. Okay, and then as far as the controller goes, right? Let me kind of okay. Wait, opening. Okay, and so now this one is the payment controller. So basically, payment controller is the REST controller, um, and then we're doing the post process the payment. But as you can see in here, it's just essentially creating the payment, um, and also just process it. So very basic type of construct in here, very basic. And then filter, the exception is just filter is extends the runtime exception in here. And then for Kafka part, producer, but let's take a look at the payment, the producer part. What is it now? Now annotation types have been detected. Okay, actually, I'm just gonna like ignore it for now. Okay, so this part is the one that's for producer. As you can see, I talk about using Kafka template. So Kafka template is essentially, think of it's kind of like bundle up your payload and everything, and then getting ready so the producer can then sends it over to the topic, right? So process payment, like right here, right? It takes in the record, specific record base, which is the payment, and then also the topic that you want to send to. So topic, and then the account, the payload, the payment. So process payment, and then send transaction is basically over here. Huh, kind of funny. Throw up. It's interesting. So if there are problems, and we throw the filter exception in here, but otherwise too, it's basically Kafka template send, and that's how it actually sends it, right? To produce the messages. So, and then as far as consumer goes, consumer specifies a component and using SLF4J logging, and essentially Kafka listener, you listen on that topic payments, and group ID is something. So basically, I think group ID is equivalent of Kafka if you are doing the partition thing. But right now, very basic example, we're not dealing with, I think, the partition stuff. So just some random group ID for now. And consume is basically taking in the consumer record, and then essentially to receiving the payment is consumer record dot pay value and then set payment. So when there's a message comes in, then it actually then will be calling, will take, basically will consume it only when there are messages coming in. So that's the beauty of like pops up asynchronous style of computing. So okay, so this is what it is, and then if we take a look at this entry point of this Spring Boot app, is Spring Boot app very standard. It's just doing the main is basically Spring application dot run, and then you give the uh, call, this application like entry point, and then pass in the arguments, and that's how it is. So it's quite a simple kind of case. So I think last time when I built it, it was having issue, and then basically to within here, it is actually based on code's instruction too. And I haven't had a chance because of the holidays. I briefly mentioned, I said your thing didn't seem to be working if I'm doing in code space, but we never kind of take a look into what it is. But let's kind of try it again. I'm sorry if I'm repeating if you've been here last time, but it's good to sometimes to also repeat stuff because we have too much and then we forget. So basically, going to the common is where the Docker start.sh is what it is, but we can take a look at the Docker Compose too. So over here, if you kind of take a look at the Docker Compose, and as such, right, Kafka is still using Zookeeper in here that manages the cluster of these things as such, right, and it's still using that, and is using the latest of Kafka from Confluent. Depends on Zookeeper, the ports of these things, of the environment variables, the different like listeners settings and broker listener name of these things. And then, okay, the JMX is for management, right? These are Java management interface in there. Interesting. Generator, Kafka topics of these. I think this one, I think these are okay. We're not using those in this basic example. So schema registry, and then the connection URL for Zookeeper, of these things. Kafka UI. So that's the Kafka UI of these things, and environment, blah, blah, blah. So, okay, so that's just like a quick example, or kind of just taking a look and see what this Docker Compose file is. Let's try again. So this the start is essentially doing a Docker Compose up. So let's see. Like I said, last time it didn't work. So like I said, he thinks it should, but I said, okay, let me try it again. And we can kind of take a look. Might take a bit of time, but I think the last time, I think even over here, I am seeing some issue. I don't think it is because it's everything is within the container. This probably doesn't require my Docker desktop to be running. But of course, I can also, if it could be because of having requiring my local Docker running, then of course too I could I can also actually bring this up because I am actually seeing a lot of actually those are like more warning messages. So okay, but in the meantime, I can also bring up my listening for requests now. It looks like, but it's the schema registry. So still going. Let me do this one thing. Let me start my Docker because I also have kind of I've also like build it locally too, and then just to see if it might be because of having code space, in the cloud there. Maybe there might be something that requires, you know. But over here, it looks like that's another thing. I can't tell if it is up or not. There's just too many things in here. Oh, maybe it's good this time. That's something good if so, right? All right, so maybe, so how can I tell, right? It is actually running okay, and how do I run it? Okay, wait. Hmm. Maybe it's okay, but the last time too, there were a lot of warnings. Let me kind of, I'm just scrolling back just to see. Um, okay, so maybe it is working this time. Excuse me. Um, maybe it's good now. So that is good. But the next thing is, what do I do now, right? How do I verify, right, that it works? So let's go to the ports. Oh, no forwarded port. But let me see what his instruction says too. He has a README, but the README is a bit very general. So let's kind of take a look at this. See, this is start zookeeper. It's basically with Docker. So start.sh will take care of everything as zookeeper, Kafka UI is working. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Interesting. So he was saying that start all of these things first before. Uh, mm, oh, execute the embedded Kafka integration test. Okay, let me see this Kafka integration test. Uh, let me see. Okay, embedded Kafka integration test. So let's see what this test is in fact doing. So Spring Boot test has the producer auto wired, and this payment consumer also auto wired. The test is basically do process payment, and then the different, essentially producing it to different topics, and then wait for it, right? And there's like 20 seconds limit until asserted. Okay, so that's what it is. So then all it does is just create the payment, is set name blah 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 like this, and then create the balance. So basically it's just creating that. Okay, so maybe we could try running it. Let's see. Run run Java. Wait. Okay, he doesn't say how. It just said do this, and it's like, okay, how do I actually run it? Let me. Okay, dash. Okay. All right. Let me see. He doesn't say how. Run Java. Okay, so keep saying that I is not a function. What is that? I hope I didn't, like, you know, accidentally change something. I could have too. All right, let me take a look. Refactor. There's no undo button. Actually, let me take a look. If I need to compare, then I know if I might have accidentally. Because sometimes if you scroll through, right, you kind of like accidentally type in something by mistake or something, and then it saves auto save. So let me take a look. Select for compare, maybe. Okay, but where did it go? Wait, and what is this now? Okay, let me see. But at least it seems like it is run up okay. So let me kind of take a look too, because he's running all of these things. Payment controller. Okay, so these are these error? Payment consumer. Okay, I'm getting a bunch of these things too. So I'm not even sure what is going on. Okay. Okay, let me see. I'm not sure if these are warning. Okay, let's take a look. Let me see. We were looking at import example cannot be resolved. Let's take a look at this guy. Oh, import example. So why did he have something like this and it's not actually in here? Sometimes it's funny. See, that's the thing when we do work and there's just so much stuff, and if you miss something in here, but because your environment has already set some things up, and so your make file, or I should say, shouldn't say make file. I'm so still used to it. Your Maven, right? Your build file should actually have all of this stuff ready, but apparently it's not able to find it. Let me see what is going on. Yeah, it keeps saying it's not able to find it. Quick fix. Okay, let's see what's the fixes. No, I don't want to create it balance and payment, but they could be used in here, right? Yeah, that's right. So they're being used here. So he has some example from Afro. Okay, so where is, let me kind of take a look at the pump file. Does he have the Afro example? Afro in this? Orc Apache Afro, IO Confluent, Project Lombard. Okay, so it probably should be in here. Wait, is it because I didn't build it? This is funny. So okay, so maybe next time I should actually have Ko, or either I talk with him and said that, well, his instruction, all he says was do this, do that, right? Like I said over here. You just execute, right? Execute. That means it should be ready. It should actually automatically be building for me when I tell it to execute. So it may not actually be building. This is kind of crazy. Okay, what I will do at this point, let me do this one thing. No, let me go to debug console. No, let me go back to my terminal. Well, the thing is, too, this is running, or is it I need to build it by hand? Maybe I need to build it. Maybe I didn't build it yet. I was just assuming it knows how to build. Okay, here we go. So I'm in the payment engine part, so it should be okay. So, all right. So I should be able to say npm compile. Let's do this and just to see. Maybe I need to compile it and I didn't. Okay, but no sources to compile. Hmm. Even I am kind of confused. So I can't. You mean I cannot? Oh, this is, yeah. So this is the MVN. Let me see what the options are. It looks like it's successful, but it's not able to. Let me see. Okay, so the goals should actually be test compile, test. Let's do a test and see what happens. All right, so it is successful. All right, so I'm not sure. Okay, so this actually is quite confusing. Now that I finally sit down and actually start to take a look, this isn't very usable, isn't it? And All right. So because I've done all of these things, and basically this execute the test. Okay. And how would I execute? Right. Actually, oh, should I be running it from this level? No, because there's a palm. Okay, so if I say compile, but that should, right. If I go up there, then it should. Okay, so huh. But this, I think, the way this is set up, can I just do? Did I just do compile? Compile, yeah. If I say test, I don't even think it would work. Yeah, that's right. Because so somehow then these might not be set up correctly because basically the Avro jar file is missing. No dependency information available. So so I'm not sure actually what it is. But you know what we can do too is basically also do a version using Pulsar, right? And because I don't know how this is supposed to set up. Because if I go one level up, it is building. Right. One level up, it says is okay, and it has all these subdirectories. So if I say file, it goes down unless it is not set up correctly, because then I'm not sure. And he just says execute, but how do I execute? Right, that's another thing. Now, if I execute over here, and then it says no test is found, right? Because it can't find that. Well, okay, this is always. Oh, I'm so sorry. Who's there? I'm sorry. Somebody is here. I'm so sorry. I wasn't paying attention. Hendra from Malaysia, right? Could it be Code Spaces not supporting Spring Boot? Exactly. I also have not used Code Spaces. This is my second time using it, or kind of finally kind of getting into it. So last time I made the changes, and now I export it over. Um, VS Code going crazy could be too. Maybe try and thank you, Aaron. Yes, I'm so sorry. I wasn't kind of paying attention. You should open just a single folder as a project instead of the whole folder. That actually, I was kind of thinking about it too. But the way code spaces work is that it forces your whole repository from opening. It doesn't allow you, I think. Because if I go into each individual directory, I cannot find the code space to open it. So that's why I opened it all and was thinking that, oh, I can just do it, from that directory. But let's also try out what Aaron is suggesting in here, which is okay. And let me kind of, this is kind of like, this might be better. Okay, let's do it. Maven. Okay, Maven clean. Okay, so I'm on the payment engine, right? And Maven clean. Let's do it one step at a time and see what happens. Clean it first. Okay, good. So this is all clean. And then we do the install. That could be what is needed too. I was just thinking of compile, but the compile wouldn't work. Oh, you're right. Maybe. So this part is basically it install the payment engine, right? Thank you. Thank you, Aaron. That works. Thank you. Okay, so in this case then, right? If I do it like that, do I then can I just right click over here and say run? Run this. Okay, so it keeps saying that it keeps, well, it's not a function, whatever that means, I think, right? It doesn't say. Okay, so I wouldn't be able to just like right click on this particular test to run it, right, as a test. And I thought I could, but all right. So yes, you did, Aaron, you did. And Hendra too, you did too. Yeah. But in this case, okay, at least if this is like all built, so could I just do Maven test? Like I said, the instruction just says, so maybe it's good. Well, I think the instructions isn't very clear, isn't it? Okay, so it looks like, well, it says build success, but then if you look into it, no test to run, no sources to compile. So it almost seems like it can't find it. So it says, okay, well, it's good, it's all good, you know. I am confused. Okay, here we go. So again, basically, okay, it looks like it's built, but do I go in and to basic and then Maven test over here? Oh, so okay, so here, if I do it one level down, then it doesn't work. So, uh, okay, all right. This is kind of a bit, kind of intriguing as to how we're supposed to be running the test, right? Okay, if we kind of go back to taking a look at the test itself. Well, we already kind of took a look into the, the what you call the producer consumer, what it is supposed to be doing. So and essentially too, then embedded Kafka integration testing is the one that is actually test to consumer, right? So it's process to payment like that. So then it should be triggering the producer, triggering the consumer, right? And wait for it and all of these things. So the question is, how do we run this test, right? Yeah. Okay, so even I'm kind of wondering, I think he has two tests too. There's another big message send test, but we're not concerned with that right now. So we want to be able to run embedded tests. Um, Payment engine application class, okay, and embedded Kafka integration test. This is a bit of a intriguing thing. Basic, but I think if we go back to source, okay, so source just has these two test files. So how do I that's what I thought. Do we just MVN test on this level? I thought I tried it before, but it's not able, yes, it's not able to resolve the dependencies. So somehow I thought we are supposed to be able to. But if it isn't, then do we say test maybe like basic? I don't know if it works that way. Okay, it doesn't. Embedded Kafka integration test. I don't know if that might work too. Okay, so it won't. So, all right. So this is kind of a bit of um confusing thing. How do we run it, right? And over here, that's all it's doing is there's a run Java or debug. Let's try debug. Okay. So it also does not work. And manage extension. Okay, no, that's not what we want. Okay, so new notifications. Do you want to install the dependency analysis extension? Okay, maybe later. Okay, so this is a bit of an intriguing thing. I think for this, I'll have to ask him how to run it. Like I said, the README is not very clear at all. It just says execute, execute. All right, but at least I think, I mean, at least for me, I think I got a hang of it. What it is trying to do again, a rather simple, really basic case is to just construct a payment, construct the payload, and send it over to topic. So I think the next thing we can do is basically do it in Pulsar. You know what I'll do, because right now is getting late and it's not like very kind of may not be as to kind of get your attention. So rather than like dragging everybody down, so again, I share with you this particular repo. If you are interested, you can take a look into this repo, right? That was like earlier. Let me kind of share that, right? Show on stream. So if you want to kind of take a look at it, so what I'll do is that let me also, oh, this isn't the one. I am so sorry. Remember how I not this. Okay, I actually should let me do this one thing. Okay, so folks, if you're already tired, don't feel like you have to hang around. But what I would try to do is that with this set of changes in this fork, I think actually is in here. So if I go back to Glass Kafka, I think let me. Why can't I get back to you? Okay. I guess when I fork it, I actually fork it from the, like if you go to this is a whole directory. So if you go to the, let me kind of make sure, because when I fork it, it might have gone over to, yeah, okay, so don't go to the main, but yes, go to the code space, glass stunning space, Eureka. So this one has the changes, but it's just not, I'll just keep it in that fork for now. And and you can kind of take a look into it. So let me do this one thing, and it's basically if I go back to here. Okay, so let me update it. GitHub repo URL. Okay, so that's the GitHub repo that I'm working off of, and then the branch is basically the stunning that long thing. So if you kind of go to this guy, this one, and it's just so basically is the branch is the what is it called, code space Mary, that one, right? So I won't type up the whole thing, but you get the idea. You know that you go to that branch and this is where the source code is, if you also want to kind of give it a try. But in the meantime, I think it's kind of getting late. It's actually getting dark now. It gets dark quite fast, and then I forgot to turn on my light. So okay, so I think I've been like streaming for an hour and a half, and don't mean to be boring you, but let me take a look too. I'm kind of trying to think, because it seems like every day I always have something. Oh yeah, so tomorrow I will be delivering some juice drinks over to the homeless shelter in the afternoon. But let me try to do a stream. I always say so. Let me really kind of carve out time to first kind of iron out the issue over here. And then after that too, in fact, I do want to start working on setting up like a Pulsar topic that does the same thing, but is setting up using Pulsar to do this. So in Pulsar too, we don't necessarily have to use Spring Boot, and in fact, Pulsar itself, you can actually write the topic and the the Pulsar and the what you call it, like the producer and the consumer separately. It's actually, I think it seems like it would kind of be a little bit easier to look at, rather than over here we're mashing in the Spring Boot code and the annotations and everything, and then to build it is also not very clear. So let me kind of get that going, and tomorrow I'm hoping to in the afternoon time around like say 2 p.m., 2:30 Central Time. Let me do this, and then have a kind of a kind of a follow up to this particular episode, because this really became a little bit kind of confusing. At this point, I'm just kind of rambling around. So, okay, well, I want to thank you all for having spent your time, Aaron. Fusnabo is already very late, so I think Fusnabo probably went to bed already. That's I think you guys are like what, like almost like 1 o'clock or past 12, right? So thank you for having spent the time, and Hendra too from Malaysia. So thank you so much, and really good to see you all. And even though I can't see you in person, but just really good to see you, having you here. So I hope you all have a good evening, and I hope to see you again tomorrow. Okay, thanks a lot. Thank you so much. Yeah, let me do this. Finish. Goodbye.